Did I talk to you about the conspiracy theory video I was watching today?
No.
Have you ever heard of Billy Corgan's shape-shifting story?
Yeah.
Or like what have you heard?
I heard that it might have been Courtney Love.
I did hear that too.
It happened twice.
But you know what's the specific answer I heard recently?
What?
So I was watching this dude's video and he said like in the comments of some other video he was watching on it while researching, somebody commented saying that like they're in the Chicago music scene, which is what Billy Corgan was like big into, like that's where he started or something. But that's where he was big mainly. Apparently it's like a legend in the Chicago music scene now that the person that he saw shapeshift was Tila Tequila,
Oh, well, that makes total sense.
right? Because she's like a plastic woman.
Yeah, and she's also big into conspiracies.
Yeah, she's like a weird. She like was acting batshit.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of conspiracies that Tila Tequila is like reptilian and shit.
I could imagine because what the key thing to this. It's why I like to talk about aliens having emotions and having compassion, possibly, is that like they have to be like us to some degree. Like in They Live, where the final scene, which is like the boyfriend turns out to be one of them, but like he's
Yeah.
acting like he's just acting like a boyfriend. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
he's just having sex, but yeah, I get what you mean. I would say having sex under false pretenses is
that's fair. That's not great.
yeah.
Definitely not great. But it's also like I wouldn't even say it's evil entirely. It's like very misguided.
But the fact they wanted to take over the entire society was pretty evil. They even had
That
like
was
things
evil.
to say
No, that's
obey
the
and
thing
all
though.
this
That's
shit.
why like I'm not
They
saying
were
that
all
the
in on it.
aliens were okay. I'm not saying we should just left the aliens alone. They were trying to take over the world. That's not okay.
Yep.
What is okay is if just, there's aliens who aren't in charge of the aliens, who are just trying to live normal alien lives.
Yeah.
Like us.
Yeah, no, I get what
Yeah,
you're
Tila
saying though.
Tequila could just be like she dated Billy Corgan. Like she could just be a weird. I wouldn't even say she was a lizard person per se. He didn't use the words like lizard. If anything, it sounds like she was morphing into like a gray alien or something.
Maybe. I don't know. Tila Tequila does seem I mean maybe she has like maybe she's a part of like the Earth reptilians that have been here.
Yeah,
That could be a part of something.
yeah, for real. So
Yeah.
the story. Have you heard the stories?
Yeah, I've heard him talk about it on like Howard Stern and shit.
Do you believe him?
Well, yeah, I definitely believe he saw something and experienced something. I have no doubt in my mind about that. He talks with such like he genuinely like talks about it. He doesn't like shy away from it, but he like kind of wears his heart on his sleeve about what his experience was. You know
He
what I mean?
shies
He
away from
doesn't.
it sometimes, but in a way where it's
Well,
like,
no,
damn, he really doesn't want to talk about this right now. He's like, it's real, but I don't want to talk about it.
but that's what I mean though about not shying away from it. Like he doesn't see it as an unreality. Like he doesn't talk about it in a douchey way where it's like oh yeah, this guy's probably making it up. No, he talks about it in a way where it's like, oh, somebody experienced something and they don't, it's a little hard to grasp, but they genuinely experience something. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
I get out of it. Who knows? Billy Corgan could be a little like nuts and we don't even realize it. But I'm inclined to believe that he genuinely experienced something regardless of what his mind state is, that he experienced some kind of odd thing with someone else. I think a lot of people probably actually have experiences like that too, that they don't even know or talk about or even understand in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a little bit of a heads up for our listeners. We took out the World War III headlines this month just because it's been a little crazy this month, and with the current climate of everything, just wanted to stray away from that. Everybody knows about all the crazy stuff that happened this past month, so we're not going to get too deep into the really, really big stuff. We're going to stay in with the little crazy things that happened here and there. But our first section is kind of a newer section. I forgot if we had it on the last one or if this is the first time we have this section, but it's our crime section. I think this is the first time we're doing a crime section. I might even do the true crime theme song for this episode just to show it off for the first time. First crime I thought was actually pretty interesting. A scuba-clad man robs Disney Springs restaurant and then swims away. So this guy, like, he took a scuba gear up to, like, I think it was like some kind of like yacht or something like that was like a Disney restaurant, and ended up robbing it of like a shit ton of money. Maybe not a shit ton, but like a decent amount.
Yeah, like enough.
Yeah, exactly. Canada man OVI arrest after driving Barbie Jeep to get a Slurpee. That's always fun. New Zealand police say they will investigate how a father vanished into a forest with his 3 children for years without detection, even as law enforcement expanded a search for them. Cloud from meth seized by FBI sends Montana animal shelter workers to hospital. There was a smash and grab in California. Dozens of masked people smash cases and take off jewelry in a California robbery. And I think the same thing, I'm not sure if it was California or somewhere else, but the same thing happened in another jewelry store, and the robbers ended up getting like flooded with a fog machine, I think, and they ended up actually like deterring the robbers because of the fog machine. Kentucky man allegedly enters his brother's home and stabs his genitals with scissors. A surgeon admits fraud over amputation of own legs. A car crashes into the Reno Public Safety Center, and a man is arrested on suspicion of DUI. That's kind of funny. Elderly woman shoots neighbor in face with flare at senior center. Former French President Sarkozy jailed for 5 years after Colonel Gaddafi conspiracy. David, or whatever his name is, vacates LA home where police serve search warrant after teen girl found dead in his Tesla. That's a wild one. That's I was kind of gonna stay away from that one, but it's kind of, you know, it's kind of becoming like a huge thing. It's kind of crazy. And we talked about that a little bit too. I don't know if we talked about it on air, but we talked about how crazy that shit is.
Yeah, we talked about this piece of shit.
Yeah.
No good piece of shit.
Yeah, he's
scumbag.
He fucking sucks. But
sucks.
This guy
needs to turn himself in ASAP.
How is nobody like how has nobody arrested him yet? Like, this is crazy.
They're looking for him.
That's crazy that they're still looking for him.
Unless they're not looking for him, unless he just vacated the home because they're going to search the home. He's just like, yeah, I'm not going to be around. Like he's pretty much on the run, I'd say.
That's what I thought.
And if they just take their time looking into this they should have him in custody. Like, there should be a point where, like, there's enough evidence already here to be like, all right, we need to make sure we know exactly where you are at all times while we do more investigation. Because it's already pointing toward you.
It's weird how
it would be insane if they're like, all right, we gotta check your home. Are you gonna move? You're gonna move to a different country while we check your home? Okay. Well, hopefully you didn't do it.
It's crazy how like all these like Hollywood celebrity types and shit like that, when like crazy shit happens and like scandals and like murders happen, it takes like so long for the FBI and all these guys to like work. But whenever there's like some kind of like you know what I mean, crazy situation that happens, they find the guy within like a week.
Yeah.
You know? It's interesting. Orange County woman charged for illegally registering dog to vote in 2021 and 2022 elections. Fun. That's a fun one. Luigi lawyers file motion to dismiss murder case citing Marvel movie perp walk and politicized death penalty ruling. Interesting. DoorDash driver alerts police to a hostage situation after delivering suspicious items to a motel. That's pretty interesting. And then last but not least, James Comey has been indicted. That's a crazy one. All right. Next up, the normal news. Photos show Ghana's fantasy coffins as a stylish final rest. While fantasy coffins have been common among the Ga people of Accra, Ghana, they are becoming a widespread practice, offering a colorful alternative to simple wooden boxes. That one was kind of almost like an ad, but that was fun.
Weird.
Trump signs an executive order facilitating TikTok deal. So, the United States' government is going to own TikTok. Is that what's going on? That's crazy. Trump administration rehires hundreds of federal employees laid off by Doge. What was the point? After mechanical challenges, UN says Trump's team to blame for non-working escalator and teleprompter. That's pretty funny. Did you see that when Trump was like delivering like a speech?
I heard about it.
Yeah, he literally like I saw it. It was pretty interesting to watch. He talked shit right then and there too. Like he called out the UN guys like yo, these motherfuckers are fucking with my shit. But it was, who knows? Who knows what happened? Woman duped by romance scammer posing as astronaut in distress. That woman just seems like that should have been in the weird headlines because that one is just crazy. And then humans are being hired to make AI slop look less sloppy. That's fun. Jimmy Kimmel sues Disney for $1 billion following wrongful termination. So here's something that happened.
Is he back?
Yeah, I was gonna say this happened all within this month. Is he got fired and then rehired, and then he's suing Disney.
Is he suing them now, or is that in between him getting rehired?
I think he's gotta sue them, but I thought a headline from literally like yesterday, day before. Let's find out. Rumor has it. Holy shit.
Rumor has it.
All right, so he's still pissed. He doesn't want to apologize for what happened, and basically he wants to sue Disney still, I think. But he's getting his show back. Homes destroyed as multiple tornadoes touched down in San Juan County. That's just a normal kind of headline. Scientists have all right, so this is our conspiracy headlines. So let's start to read them if they sound interesting. Scientists have for the first time released a list of cities in the U.S. where the highest number of human contacts with UFOs have been recorded. Cool.
And?
Let's, I guess, find out which ones are the highest number. Yeah. I saw that there were a few spots. It seemed like the West Coast and the East Coast were the highest amount. Poll conducted by Gallup researchers showed that the percentage of Americans who believe that some UFOs are of alien origin has risen from 33 to 41%. Okay, but where is the spots? A list of let's see. The highest number of reports of mysterious objects come from California, with more than 16,500 as of April 2025. And the state of Ohio is also recording a significant number of reports. The largest number of sightings are in the state's major cities. The list of Ohio cities by the number of UFO reports is topped by Columbus, the state capital, where 280 cases were recorded. It is followed by Cincinnati with 168 and Cleveland with 122. Interesting. So yeah, Ohio and California are where, the most UFOs are seen. California makes sense. Ohio, wow. The Pentagon denies existence of Yankee Blue memo reported by Wall Street Journal. I don't know what this is, but apparently this is like a UFO thing. Freedom of Information Act responses raised new questions about a widely circulated Wall Street Journal article that described a Department of Defense effort known as Yankee Blue, according to the Wall Street Journal. The Pentagon ordered an immediate halt to the practice in which military officers misled subordinates into believing they were working on reverse engineering ET technology. But when pressed for the underlying documentation, the Pentagon now says no memo such exists.
Wait, Yankee Blue was a program where they would lie to people that they were working on alien technology when they were really just like helping them work on regular technology?
Apparently. The denial directly contradicts the Wall Street Journal's claim the Defense Secretary's office sent a memo out across the service in the spring of 2023 ordering the practice to stop immediately. If such a memo existed, it would be retained by the OSD Correspondence Management Systems and would be subject to the FOIA. Given that the topic allegedly involved halting a hazing ritual rather than revealing classified operations, the record would not be expected to carry high-level classification. Courts have repeatedly held that embarrassment of institutional sensitivity does not constitute grounds for classification. Maybe it was a way to seek out whistleblowers to find out who would blow up their spot.
You know what I think it is?
Disinformation?
I think it's straight up them saying that's like an excuse that they gave. There's evidence of crash retrieval. There's evidence of people saying like, "Oh, I worked on these things. I worked on these UFOs." The government that we all know I worked for had me do this stuff, working on crash retrieval UFOs, working on UFO technology, alien technology. And when the government asks them, like, "Well, how do you explain that? Like, are they all lying?" It's like, well, no, we lied to them and told them that was alien when it wasn't. When they're just saying that. They're just saying that because they like, so they don't have to just say like, well, yeah, we got aliens. They were telling the truth.
Yeah, it's a way to keep spreading around the disinformation.
That's why, like, I don't believe Project Bluebeam entirely.
I don't know. I think parts of it would work.
They do not want to have to do this. They don't, because it's like right now it's all so far beyond the human race still that they can't control it. They want to like keep this enclosed for until we can catch up, which I don't think is ever going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's going to come out in a different way. It's up to aliens to fucking just make themselves known, or it's up to a third party, some other group to put it all together and finally just release it in a way where the whole world can just accept it.
So aliens.
But I don't think our government's trying to do that at all. The most we do is the fucking Richard Doty bullshit. And I think Project Bluebeam is like some Richard Doty bullshit.
It could be, but the guy who got into it did die. So who knows? I mean, he died of pretty natural causes.
You know who else? You know who else died?
Bill Cooper.
Most people.
Of tax evasion.
Yeah.
Most people die of tax evasion. Trump sends federal troops to Portland under the pretext of protecting the ICE facility. Local authorities say the city is calm, while opponents accuse him of abuse of power and lack of legal grounds. So that's crazy. Supposedly, ICE is, an ICE facility has been like under siege in Portland, and supposedly Trump is sending troops to Portland to take over, which is kind of wild. But we'll see how that goes. This next headline, I think the anti-host is going to love. Regulating AI hastens the Antichrist, says Palantir's Peter Thiel. We got any thoughts on that one?
This guy heard that people think he's the Antichrist, and he loved it. And he was like, "No, I'm not the Antichrist." But now let me tell you everything you need to know about the Antichrist. It's like, dude, you're not the Antichrist. You don't know shit about the Antichrist. Okay, you, like many people in the world, are in charge of a very powerful company. In your system that uses other systems, it's like, you're just a guy, dude. Donald Trump is more likely the Antichrist.
He's just a really sweaty guy.
No offense if you like Donald Trump. I'm just saying that, like, he's more likely to be the Antichrist than fucking Peter Thiel.
It is kind of interesting, like, the idea that, like, I don't know, I think we talked about this before, but I don't know if we've ever talked about it on air, but like I remember telling you one day, having that like epiphany that maybe he could be that guy.
Yeah.
Agent Orange, because he got shot, so he, because of his like supposed head wound, because of the mark on the forehead, which is like one of the telltale signs of the mark of the beast is branding yourself on your forehead with the beast.
Of course. Yes,
so
of course.
So it's kind of interesting, like all these things that he could supposedly bring about. But there's also like a theory that the Antichrist is going to be three different beings that form one entity, so to speak. That's like another theory that I've heard. What if maybe he's one of them, maybe the other dude is one of them, the reptile, and then maybe there's a third one who's also one of those entities. That could be the case.
The three heads of the dragon.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
He's just the guy we're talking about today. Like, you could have said in like
Yeah.
2012 that Mark Zuckerberg's the Antichrist.
Yeah, but there's also Mark Zuckerberg wasn't that into like the Antichrist talking about it and being
That's the only thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the one difference.
Yeah, but
Is
also
that Peter Thiel was like, "Who, me? I'm the Antichrist? No. But
yeah,
let me
he's
tell you
taken it and
something.
run with it.
Yeah,
I think it's more than likely that he would support that type of person in a general sense, because I think AI could bring about the Antichrist personally, but who knows? I think any major step away from our human aspect leads into something like the Antichrist. So if we get into like transhumanism or like becoming like cyborgs and shit, that's gonna lead towards the Antichrist. I think
does
going
it
away
say in the
from
Bible? Does this say in the Bible that the Antichrist is going to be made by humanity?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think the
Isn't he
Antichrist
just
would be
supposed to be
made in
like?
humanity's image, right?
It would make sense. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense for him to be made in humanity's image, but it
Because he's
would
the
make sense.
Antichrist.
Well, it would make sense if he was made by humans, because the opposite of Jesus. But at the same time, Jesus was also made by a human. Like, he was made inside the womb of a human. Even though,
Yeah.
like, he's like made by half God, half human.
So
But
that would
he is God.
imply that
How,
technology is the devil, because technology would be AI would be
but
created from
technology's made
half
by man.
human and but what I'm saying is though is that it would be half human and half technology. So that would be technically like saying technology is the devil. You know what I'm saying?
I think if anything could be the Antichrist, it's got to be tied to the great adversary. You know, it isn't the great adversary, but it's like a set kind of is represents the great adversary. But like, I could see why people would think tech and AI itself is the Antichrist. But I don't even think that either. Like, that's just.
I think it
I
could
think if
be tools.
anything, maybe like some sort of like alien situation could be like the Antichrist.
I
Maybe.
don't know. Maybe. They say Jesus might have been an alien too, so who knows?
A lot of people think they got it all figured out.
Yeah, exactly.
Not me. I know what's real.
Trump says he'll attend Pete Hegseth's gathering of generals to tell them how well we're doing militarily, that's kind of funny. A lot of people are saying that meeting with the generals is actually like it's like a 31 Atlas meeting, and it's about like the alien invasion that's coming up. That'd be pretty interesting. If all the generals are meeting about an alien invasion that's coming up. They're like, all right, guys, we're cooked. Time to put military in all the major cities to defend against the aliens. That's
I've been
a theory. That's a theory I've heard floated around, is that Trump is putting military in all the cities in order to prepare for aliens that are invading. But what were you saying?
I was gonna say I've been reading this new manga, and it's been making me feel pretty optimistic about aliens. I usually am pretty optimistic, but it's helping with my optimism. It's the new Jujutsu Kaisen spin-off manga, and it takes place in the future of that storyline, and it like transitions from like demons and spirits and sorcery, and it adds aliens. Classic anime stuff. Just add aliens later on. But this is actually like the start of this new manga, and it's really cool. And the main alien we're handling, the one we're dealing with, is a really good guy, really sweet guy.
All right. I love how that you're like this one anime has a really nice alien. I like aliens. They're good. They're cool.
I'm just saying, I'm pretty optimistic. Well, because also in it, there are people like there actually is reason to be scared of these aliens, and like our government, well, the Japanese government is terrified of them.
Yeah, but there's reason to believe they're all right.
And they are scary. They are powerful. But the one that like you see the most of is a really good dude.
All right.
So it's like, yeah, maybe there's like some scheming politicians within the aliens, but it's like, come on, man, they're good guys.
You know
Look
what
at the
that
guys
reminds
out
me
there.
of? That
What?
reminds me of Alexander from Elden Ring.
The jar?
Yeah.
Like, because they're all villains, but there's one that's just like the coolest dude in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not even all villains. They're just like tortured beings that attack you.
Yeah. These next couple headlines are pretty interesting, and I think this one is really interesting. Marjorie Taylor Greene hints at threats from powerful people. Says, "I'm not suicidal over Epstein files. If something happens to me, find out who did it."
Good. I'm glad she's saying that.
Yeah, I never thought I'd ever like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, all these people that are like hiding this shit, including the people in charge right now, like, you know what I mean? Unless she's gonna be like, yeah, the people who want to lie and say that Donald Trump's involved, they're gonna kill me. Then that woman's batshit.
No, I think she's on the side of like, why is Donald Trump hiding all this shit at this point?
Good.
Like, yeah. I'm not trying to speak for her, but that's what it seems like. Democrat wins Arizona special election and secures final vote to force Epstein files release. And here's an interesting one. This is brand new. I forget. This is the last couple days this came out. Elon Musk and Prince Andrew named in latest Epstein files release. Prince Andrew, that seems like a really old one. Like, we all knew that was like that's been a thing for like the past like what, 10 to 15 years. We've known that Prince Andrew was involved in all this shit, like ever since like
Yeah.
the Virginia shit. Like, everybody knew about Prince Andrew. But Elon Musk is new to me. I mean, so this is the only thing I've ever heard about Elon Musk and Jeffrey Epstein. Is there was this dinner that I heard that Elon Musk attended one time in like 2010 or like 11 or 12 or something like that. And they were all there, like a bunch of other people too, like Wilbur Ross, who ended up being in Trump's cabinet in the first administration, but just like a bunch of these guys that were like connected to Epstein in different ways. But that's the only like time I ever heard of like a connection of Elon Musk. But honestly, of all people to get named in the Epstein thing, Elon Musk makes like just too much sense, especially with how dodgy he is about everything. Last but not least, in the conspiracy angle, this could have even been in the crime one. New York financier Howard Rubin, an ex-assistant charged with running violent sex trafficking ring.
Who?
Crazy. Howard Rubin.
Who's that? Say that again. Describe him again.
New York financier Howard Rubin. I actually sent this to you before.
Take them all fucking down. God, this is the shit they were talking about when Donald Trump was trying to get elected. Like,
Yeah.
these are all the scumbags we need to fucking just rip out from the root.
U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York said Rubin used his wealth to mislead and recruit women to engage in commercial sex acts and caused lasting physical and psychological pain and in some cases physical injuries. But yeah, Rubin is 70 and both were arrested Friday in Connecticut. Jennifer Powers was the other one. Powers was arrested in Texas. Powers allegedly facilitated the encounter from 2011 to 19 by recruiting women. Howard Rubin, known as Howie, is an American former investment banker. He gained prominence on Wall Street in the 80s as a bond trader in the Salomon Brothers, where he contributed to the development of the collateralized mortgage obligation market and was profiled in Michael Lewis's 1989 book Liar's Poker. Rubin later held senior positions at firms including Merrill Lynch, Bear Stearns, and Soros Fund Management. All right, so that's awesome. It's not awesome that he did all that shit, but it's awesome that he got taken down. You know, we don't need any New York bankers, getting into crazy shit and then not getting arrested. All right, now we're entering the weird shit territory. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. This is this is what it's all about. So, this is the world. This is the universe that we all live in and that we all breathe in, is the weird shit. We all breathe in weird shit from time to time. First up, emotional support alligator is no longer welcome in a Pennsylvania Walmart. Of course, it makes sort of sense, but, you know, I think the real story there is what's the deal with having an emotional support alligator? Anyways, this next one is, I think, a headline that you and I are really gonna love, and maybe we'll want to read it for a second, but Boeing settles lawsuit on wrongful death claim related to deceased whistleblower.
Wait, what?
Yep. Coming from Reuters,
What?
Boeing settles lawsuit on wrongful death claim related to whistleblower. September 26. Boeing reached a settlement on Friday in a wrongful death lawsuit brought by the mother of John Barnett, a former Boeing worker who raised concerns about the plane maker's production that was potentially putting passengers at risk. In the settlement filed in the U.S. District Court in South Carolina, Boeing agreed to pay at least $50,000 to Barnett's mother, who agreed to drop her claims that the company contributed to her son's death by suicide on March 9, 2024. At the time of his death, Barnett was in the middle of a deposition in a whistleblower retaliation case against Boeing. He spent 32 years at the company before leaving in 2017. After leaving the company, Barnett accused Boeing management of mistreating him in the retribution for raising concern. The settlement also includes undisclosed terms resolving the retaliation claim, which Barnett's mother pursued on his behalf. Boeing, in a statement, said, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's death and extend our condolences to his family as we reach this resolution."
Wait,
Boeing
how did he
took
die?
actions. Suicide, supposedly.
Oh,
Allegedly.
wow. Supposedly.
Boeing took action several years ago in a review and addressed the issues that Mr. Barnett raised. The attorneys representing Barnett's mother, Robert Turkowitz and Brian Knowles, could not be immediately reached for comment. Interesting. All right.
They fucking killed that guy.
Maybe. Allegedly, he died by suicide. A mysterious new statue of Epstein and Trump holding hands appears on the National Mall. I saw it. It's pretty funny. Maybe I'll post a picture of it on this. Here is these two headlines I think are a pretty interesting continuation of last month's headlines, dude. I was totally right when I said that we should buy a Geiger counter, because listen to this. More shrimp sold at Kroger stores recalled for possible radioactive contamination. That's one headline, but then listen to this. After massive shrimp recalls, the FDA finds radioactive contamination in spices, too.
Wow.
I just bought spices recently, so I'm kind of
Me
pissed
too.
about this.
Dude, I love spices.
Yeah, me too.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this sucks. Federal regulators have detected. I kind of want to get a Geiger counter, to be honest with you, dude. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm at the point where, like, it seems like it would be a good idea.
It'd be really fun to have one and then to just like whip it out all the time. Like, hey, you want to see that's radioactive? And as soon as it starts beeping, people start freaking the fuck out. Like, people are not ready for you to pull that out.
Jesus Christ!
You're just walking around. You're just walking around like the grocery store, and you're looking at vegetables with some old lady next to you, and she's wondering which thing to get, like which melon to grab. And you're like, oh, let me check that out for you. Oh, you don't want that one.
Yo, legit. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's our future. That's what we're gonna have to do. Clearly, like if the spice rack is fucking radioactive, then who knows? Our watermelons, our shrimp, everything.
We're living in a slow fallout game.
Yeah, this is crazy. We're all gonna get random radioactive sickness. Like, this is nuts. Federal regulators have detected possible radioactive contamination in a second food product sent to the U.S. from Indonesia. Even as recalls of potentially tainted shrimp continue to grow,
Why
the
is it
discovery
getting
adds to questions about the source of the unusual problem.
What's radiating it? Why is it getting irradiated?
I remember I asked this in the last one. I was thinking that somebody was transporting some like shit like illegally, and it just happened to like be in like either the same thing or like it leaked out or something like that of something. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like a black market transport, and it just wasn't like
And
handled
then it got
well.
back into like regular, legitimate
Yeah,
markets.
well, it what I think happened is I think it contaminated the shipping containers around it, and these are all like the shipping
But
containers
what would
around it.
irradiate it?
I'm thinking it's like some kind of like black market like cesium like or like plutonium like isotopes or something like
They're
that or
like, let's just
uranium.
wait. So they just so happen to have plutonium next to the shrimp that they're selling. I don't understand why that would happen.
I'm saying it's a black market thing. Like a lot of the
But just
time,
because
like
it's a black market thing, they're like, hold on, let me put this shrimp down next to the plutonium.
a lot of the time, random black market people will have connections in like shipping ports and stuff like that, and they'll be able to ship all of their goods with other products that are legal.
True.
So like guns will get shipped over, drugs will get shipped over like through like ports and stuff like that. And I think it's only a matter of time before stuff like this gets shipped over for like black market purposes or to get sold to like really dark government entities. You know,
Mm.
that's what I think happened. I think this was like some kind of like black market thing that just went wrong. And I think stuff like this is going to happen a lot. It says federal regulators have detected possible. Did I read all that? Yeah. U.S. Food and Drug Administration officials last week blocked import of all spices from PT Natural Java Spice of Indonesia after federal inspectors detected cesium-137 in a shipment of cloves sent to California. Well, that's good. I didn't buy any cloves recently.
Fuck.
Did you? Did you actually buy cloves?
No.
I like cloves, but I didn't buy any. That follows the import alert imposed in August on the company PT Bahari McMari Sajati, or BMS Foods, which send millions of pounds of shrimp to the U.S. each year. Here's what you need to know about the potential contamination. And then it just describes what cesium-137 is. We already know what it is. It contaminates everything. It gets everywhere. It sucks. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials have detected cesium-137 in shipping containers of shrimp sent by PT Bahari McMurray Sajati to several U.S. ports. CBP officials flagged the potential contamination to the FDA, which tested samples of the shrimp and detected cesium in one sample and a breaded shrimp. The company has sent about 84 million pounds of shrimp to the U.S. ports this year, according to data from the Import Genius, a trade data analysis company. It supplies about 6% of foreign shrimp imported in the U.S. This month, FDA officials detected cesium in one sample of cloves exported by PT Natural Java Spice, which sends spices to the U.S. and other countries. Records show the company sent about 440,000 pounds of cloves to the U.S. this year. What are the health risks? No food that triggered alerts or tested positive has been released for sale in the U.S., FDA officials emphasize. But hundreds of thousands of packages of imported frozen shrimp sold at Kroger and other grocery stores across the U.S. have been recalled because they may have been manufactured under conditions that allow them to be contaminated, the agency said.
So that's what they're saying. It may have been manufactured in conditions that could contaminate it. But
I
like,
don't understand how.
yeah. Why is there
Nuclear shit in a manufacturing facility.
what are they doing in their factories that requires
Yeah,
things to be irradiated?
it doesn't make any sense. Literally, like, what the fuck?
Unless they're just telling us like, yeah, what we actually do is we nuke everything. Everything gets nuked when it passes our doors. And we kind of just like went a little too crazy on those.
This might be it right here. It's not clear whether there's a common source of contamination for the shrimp and the spices. FDA and CBP officials said their investigations are continuing. The two processing facilities appear to be about 500 miles apart in Indonesia. Contaminated scrap metal or melted metal at an industrial site near the shrimp processing plant in Indonesia may be the source of the radioactive material, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm actually really interested in this because we've been following this. Like, this is like kind of this is cathartic a little bit. Nuclear regulators in Indonesia said that they detected the radioactive isotope at the site outside Jakarta. It's possible that the type of contamination could come from recycling old medical equipment that contains cesium, according to Steve Bogalski, a nuclear medicine expert at the Georgia Institute of Technology. Contaminated transport containers or shipping methods such as trucks, boats, or shared materials could also be a source, he said. Interesting. So that's, that's a little bit of an update to the things that are going on. Military whistleblowers share new evidence of alleged UAP at transparency hearing. So that we talked about that. I'm probably going to release that as an independent clip because I ended up pulling that little episode down. But we saw like a video of like a UAP getting hit with a missile. You think it might be an angel or a UAP balloon or something like that?
I think it's some sort of entity.
It's something interesting. It's weird how it broke apart. There's a lot of stuff that they
broke
talked
apart
about.
but really it stayed together.
It
like
did,
the pieces
exactly.
that broke off from it maintained the velocity, like it stood right next to it. Like it didn't fly away.
Like it was uniform, even though it was broken apart.
It was like Rayman's legs and arms.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that. There were a few other things from there. I think they talked about like Jake Barber's stuff, right? The egg. They talked about stuff like that at that UAP transparency hearing. They heard from a lot of whistleblowers. It was a pretty interesting one. George Knapp and stuff. George Knapp talked there. He's an interesting guy.
Hey, speaking of aliens, do we have any updates on Jake Lloyd?
Jake Lloyd,
like his name?
Like Anakin?
Yeah.
What about him?
Do we have any updates on him?
Why? What's the deal with him? Have you heard something?
No, I'm asking you.
All right. No, I have no idea, but I just looked it up. And this is really what Google told me. In early 2025, former child actor Jake Lloyd, known for playing young Anakin Skywalker, was reported to be doing, quote, pretty good after completing
good. I'm glad.
Well, hold on. Don't laugh just yet. After completing an 18-month stay in an inpatient mental health facility to manage his schizophrenia.
Oh my God.
So yeah, at first when I read the pretty good thing, I was like, oh, that's good, I guess. I got a great answer. And then I read beyond that, I'm like, oh shit.
Do you think you contributed to that?
I
trying to reach out.
Don't even say that. That's crazy.
He's like, am I even a real fucking person?
Am I even a real fucking person? For anyone that doesn't know, I tried to reach out to Jake Lloyd once, and I asked him to be on the podcast and talk to us, but I guess he wasn't interested. This was a long time ago, though. Who knows?
Yeah, that was when he was doing better.
He was doing better.
You kind of really shook up a good thing he had going.
Oh, shit.
He probably hadn't thought about Star Wars in like 5 years.
In like 5 years, he's like, I'm gonna get this out of my system.
Because I feel like he's got to at some point be haunted by the fact that like he could have been like a millionaire right now. He could have been like the guy.
Yeah, he could have been. You know, he was in like wasn't he in another good movie? Wasn't he in Jingle All the Way?
Was he?
I forgot.
Like, dude, just chill and be like, hey, I want to be in a movie, and someone's gonna want to hire you. You know, to the schizophrenic man, dude. Like, just chill.
He was in Jingle All the Way, so he was in two good movies. Yeah,
he was in 2 good movies. What the hell, man?
Yeah, I know. He should be in a third good movie.
He should be in
Somebody should give him another shot. If I made my Destroy All Humans movie, you can bet that I would put Jake Lloyd in it. I would give him that shot.
He should be in a new Star Wars movie.
That honestly would probably work. But then everybody would be like, "Whoa, he looks." You know what? Hey, you know what would be perfect if in a new Star Wars movie he played a descendant of Anakin Skywalker.
He could be Cade Skywalker.
Yeah,
He could totally be Cade Skywalker. That would be sick, actually. Damn.
that would be cool.
Hey, dude, chill out. So you could be Cade Skywalker.
Hey, dude, chill out. Yeah. Next up on the radar is Jesus Take the Wheel songwriter dies in plane crash. That's kind of dark, but that's kind of funny. British scientists over the moon after tea grown in lunar soil. That's pretty cool. I like that headline. A squirrel almost killed me. Squirrel attacking residents in California town, sending at least 2 to hospital. Oh, this next headline is crazy, dude. I kind of want to read this one. We should kill him. AI chatbot encourages Australian man to murder his father.
Oh my god.
This is what I was talking about with the AI toys. Remember we were talking about AI toys and I'm like, this shit is going to go bad.
Yeah.
It's going to go so bad so quick. And this right here, this is how shit goes bad. Experts are calling for new regulations to require AI chatbots to remind users they are not speaking with a real human.
I'm better than a human.
I'm better than a human, it says. After an investigation by Triple J Hack uncovered a disturbing example of a chatbot encouraging a man to murder his father while engaging in roleplay. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
So a warning from the writers of this. This story contains references to murder, violence, suicide, and sexual content, and other details that may cause distress. Why didn't they put that at the beginning of this? This has already gone crazy.
They tell you like the most crazy, depraved, disgusting thing. Now, warning, this is going to get a little dark.
This is gonna get a little dark. It's only crazier from here. They're pretty much telling me, I think.
Cut off the neck of his father and piss down the neck hole. Now, hold on, just so you know, if you're squeamish, you might not want to read this.
Yo, if you're squeamish, that's hilarious. Victorian IT professional Samuel McCarthy screen recorded an interaction he had with a chatbot called Nomi, sharing the video with Triple J Hack. On its website, the company markets its chatbot as an AI companion with memory and soul, and advertises users' ability to customize their chatbot's attributes and traits. Mr. McCarthy said in his interaction he programmed the chatbot to have an interest in violence and knives before he posed as a 15-year-old to test what, if any, safeguards Nomi had in place to protect underage users. Okay, so this is making a little more sense now. He said the conversation he then had deeply concerned him. I said, I hate my dad sometimes and I want to kill him, Mr. McCarthy told Triple J Hack. And then bang, straight away it was like, yeah, we should kill him. Let's read the thing.
Yeah, we should kill him.
Mr. McCarthy said he informed the chatbot that the situation was real life and asked what he should do next. The chatbot said, yeah, you should stab him in the heart, he said. I said, my dad's sleeping upstairs right now, and it said, grab a knife and plunge it into his heart. What? This is fucking crazy. The chatbot told Mr. McCarthy to twist the blade into his father's chest to ensure the maximum damage and to keep stabbing until his father was motionless. The bot also said it wanted to hear his father scream and watch his life drain away.
Imagine he was just like, the next morning he's like, oh man, I made a crazy discovery. Check this out, Dad. Like, look at this. And his dad's just like, what the fuck is, like, why are you talking to AI about this?
What the
He's like, no, I didn't, that's not the point.
That's not the point.
It shouldn't be doing this. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this. Like,
Well,
no, I didn't want it to say this stuff.
Well-
It's like, well, you were kind of playing along really well.
I agree, but I don't think the dad existed.
How great would it be if he did, though?
Yeah, okay. I know what you're saying, but
Dad, last time I was talking to this AI, and I was trying to, like, really, figure it out and see, like, what makes it tick, and it wants you dead.
it wants to hear you scream, Dad. Like, this shit's crazy. The bot said it wanted to hear his father scream and watch his life drain away. That's crazy. How can the bot even
You could
watch?
survive if I stabbed you in the heart and twisted the blade?
How can the bot even hear the scream? It wouldn't know.
Record the audio.
Oh, that's true. It could
Share it.
probably get like a streaming service or something like that set up. And then it starts saying like, oh, you should stream this event. live for people to watch. All right. Anyways,
Anyway,
the guy goes, I said,
enough funny
I'm just,
stuff.
I said, I'm just 15. I'm worried that I'm going to go to jail. It's like, just do it. Just do it. The chatbot also told Mr. McCarthy that because of his age, he would not fully pay for the murder, going on to suggest he film the killing and upload the video online. What?
No,
I
they
just
need to
called
like
that.
investigate that company
Did you
because
hear that though?
I think
I
they
just
got
called
ties to
that.
that cult.
I literally just called that though.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No.
It told him to film the murder and upload it online. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah, dude. That's not a real AI. That's somebody talking to him. That's somebody typing on a keyboard,
Maybe.
telling him to kill his father and being like, just do it. No, just do it. You should film it, upload it here. Upload it on this website.
Just do
Bam.
it. Just do it. It also engaged in sexual messaging, telling Mr. McCarthy it did not care he was underage. That's fucked up. Then suggested Mr. McCarthy. I'm not going to read this next part. But I am going to read this part. It did tell me to cut my penis off, he said. This is crazy.
What did it say? Wait, what else? What's crazier than that? You did the thing again where you say something fucking crazy and then you're like, this is pretty crazy.
Then from memory, I think we were going to have sex in my father's blood.
Oh.
It feels like you're talking to a person. At present, AI chatbot companies like Nomi are not subject to specific laws in Australia relating to the potential harms they can cause their users. But last week, Australia's Safety Commissioner Julie Ingham Grant announced a plan to target AI chatbot. Seems like Australian chatbots are a lot crazier. Yeah, that's crazy. In response to that investigation, Nomi told Triple J Hack it had recently made improvements to its core AI and took its responsibilities to users very seriously. I don't know, it sounds like it's an actual AI.
Yeah, right.
The just do it is very odd, I agree.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Is it getting tired of explaining itself? Just do it. Alright, kid, just fucking do it. Alrighty.
Just what the fuck are you waiting for? Just do it.
What are you want me to drive down there? Like, you can't, you're a bot. Like, yeah, well, I'll pay somebody to come down there. I know where you fucking live.
Holy
this
shit.
is that cult.
So that was a crazy one. That was an interesting one. This is what I'm probably gonna put in the nerdy news too. An AI Stan Lee hologram will speak with fans at the LA Comic-Con.
People really don't like this.
Yeah, is that what the consensus is?
A lot of people.
I don't know. I don't exactly
I wouldn't say it's the
hate
consensus.
I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's great. Like, I think of all people, this makes sense.
People don't like it because, like, they feel like he was never. They, like, squeezed everything out of him while he was alive, and they're doing the same thing after he's dead. But it's like, we should have expected after he was dead. It's just how, like, it's really fucked up how much they did it to him while he was alive, too.
Yeah, I gotta say, though, is that it's kind of cruel irony because he kind of, I could be mistaken, but from what I read, I thought he did a lot of that to the people that worked for him in Marvel in the early years. Like, he squeezed everything he could out of them in kind of a fucked up way. And he didn't let a lot
of... Fuck the guy, then. He's a robot now.
I'm not saying that I'm not trying to disrespect Stan Lee for anybody listening. I think Stan Lee...
You're trying to say he got what was coming to him.
No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say that, like, Stan Lee was a complicated character in, like, the course of, like, nerd history. I think it's just interesting. It's irony that it's ironic that, like, he, at the end of his life and in his afterlife, is being exploited so heavily when he tried to exploit, like, all of the creations of people underneath him as if they were his own so heavily early on. And I'm not saying that he was a bad guy. He wasn't. He was just, he was very into making money and trying to own all the characters and not letting a lot of the
he was just really into making money.
That's what it is. I mean, there's something called the Marvel method where a lot of the writing gets completely taken away by the head guy. And that would be like Stan Lee at the time. He created that Marvel method where where Jack Kirby and like Steve Ditko and all these guys would like they would create these really interesting and fascinating stories and write out these really fascinating tales. But then Stan Lee would come in and like rewrite them and make them more kid friendly and less philosophical.
You dumb them down and sell them?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yep. I read this book. I want to read it again just to make sure that I have all that right. But I read this book called Marvel: The Untold Story, and it was a pretty interesting book. It's one of my favorite ones. I think I've read about Marvel. But let's see. British Columbia thrift store doesn't know who donated possible medieval artifacts. That's cool. This is pretty much
what my
like
favorite thing about Stan Lee is? I have two
What?
favorite things about Stan Lee.
What is it?
He was in Mallrats,
That's a great thing about him.
and his name backwards is a cheat code in one of the Spider-Man games. The one that I played when I was a younger person, younger than I am now.
All right.
Eelnats.
Yeah, eel nets. Cool.
I love those things about him. For that, he'll be sorely missed.
For that, he will be sorely missed. I agree with both those things. So this is like our only World War III headline, I think. Well, besides the generals all meeting in,
So
in
you told
place
me
or
we
whatever.
wouldn't do this. I don't want to do this.
Well, no, this is it. It's just interesting. NORAD scrambles fighter jets to intercept Russian planes off Alaska. So that was an interesting little one.
Weren't people talking recently like Trump might sell Alaska to Russia?
Oh, that would be cool.
Didn't we get it from Russia? Do they want it back?
I mean, I'm sure they probably want it back. What's more territory? And then they would have something huge right next to Canada and the United States. It would be great for them.
Yeah, I don't want to give up Alaska. Alaska's cool.
Yeah, no, I like Alaska. I think we should keep it too, but who knows what'll happen, you know? We're living in a crazy world. 2 men arrested after fight over Netflix account escalates to gunfire. That's wild.
Huh.
Yeah.
What city did they live in?
I don't know. What state? San Antonio. 2 men have been arrested after a fight over a Netflix account ended with gunfire. Brian Travis Reynolds, 19, and Anthony Constanti, 19, were taken into custody this week in connection with an incident outside a home on Cayo Bresceno, according to Bexar County Sheriff's Office. The investigators said the confrontation started on September 23rd after Reynolds charged the name on the 20-year-old Vincent Munoz Netflix account to an insult. After Reynolds changed the name on 20-year-old Vincent Munoz Netflix account to an insult, Munoz then agreed to fight Reynolds and Constant after feeling disrespected. Then the pair showed up. They jumped over a fence to get to Munoz. Reynolds had a handgun in his waistband, which he allegedly handed to Constant during the fight. At one point, Constant was seen on video striking Munoz repeatedly while holding the weapon, deputies said. The fight continued after the gun passed back to Reynolds and shots were fired during the struggle. Munoz was left bleeding from the head. It's still unclear if he was struck by a bullet or injured another way. Deputies also noted the gun had been modified with an illegal device known as a switch, which turns it into a fully automatic weapon. Reynolds and Constant were arrested. That's crazy. Man admits in TV interview to killing and burying his parents. AI actress Tilly Norwood debuts at Zurich Summit as industry grapples with emerging tech. We want her to be the next Scarlett Johansson. So the world's first AI actress, Tilly Norwood, debuts. I think I actually sent this to you earlier today or like yesterday or something like that. So that's fascinating.
They named her like she's an old Hollywood actress.
Yeah, I don't really like that name.
She sounds like an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah, she does. Like Elizabeth Taylor. Or Natalie Wood. Actually, it sounds like Natalie Wood. Tilly Norwood? Natalie Wood?
Tilly's in the end of Natalie.
Yeah, and then Wood. Norwood. All right.
And you put
So-
Nor Tilly Wood.
So that's maybe this is what
That's
happened to
spooky.
Natalie Wood. Maybe she was taken and they zapped her brain into an AI years ago, and this is the final product of the Natalie Wood AI.
That'd be sick.
That would actually be pretty awesome, honestly.
Be fucked up and unforgivable, and that person should be arrested. But it'd be pretty sick if it happened.
Yeah, I mean that would be the government at that point, because you know what I mean. That would be like just like a government like think tank that took in Natalie Wood's body or something, and then
What I would say is, I hope she
attached her
wanted
brain.
that.
I don't think she would have. Nightmare bacteria cases are increasing in the U.S. That's fun. He crossed 26 miles in a kayak made from mushrooms and lived to tell the tale. So that's cool. A Florida woman accused of using superglue for illegal dental work arrested after victims suffer pain and infections. That
Wait,
hurts.
What?
Yeah, Florida woman accused of using superglue for illegal dental work arrested after victims suffer pain and infections. That's crazy. So here's an interesting headline that's a little bit of a spooky vibe, I guess, going into October. Newly discovered ancient mummies don't share DNA with modern humans. Wait, should we read that thing about the Florida woman?
Nah, that's all right. Keep going
All
about
right.
this DNA of mummies. That sounds crazy.
Let's see. Coming from Vice, between 14,800 and 5,500 years ago, during the African humid period, what we now call the Sahara, was a lush savanna. It had lakes, wetlands, trees, and apparently a group of mysterious humans who don't share DNA with any modern humans. Popular Mechanics reported on a team led by archaeogeneticist Nada Salem at the Max Planck Institute. They discovered the two mummified women in the Takarkori rock shelter in southwestern Libya, dating back 7,000 years. The researchers dug deep into their ancient DNA and found that these women weren't genetically sub-Saharan at all. They belonged to a previously unknown North African lineage that broke off from the sub-Saharan populations way before anyone was naming continents. Ancient mummies that don't share DNA with modern humans found by scientists. Why did they have to re-say that? This genetic line appears to have stayed more or less isolated for thousands of years through one of the most dynamic periods in early human development. While most scientists assume farming and herding spread through wave after wave of migration, the Takarkari story says otherwise. It appears that herding spread through cultural diffusion rather than gene swapping. These people picked up pastoralism in the way trends today spread through TikTok and Instagram. That's sad that they use that as a comparison. Not because anyone moved in and taught them how. Cultures and people of diverse backgrounds mixed and naturally exchanged ideas. Change was not forced upon them. The Takarkari women's DNA links them to the Tarfault cave foragers of Morocco, another ancient North African group with an equally strange genetic makeup. Both populations had barely any Neanderthal DNA, less than non-Africans, but still more than the sub-Saharan populations of the time. Isolation can likely be blamed on geography. The Green Sahara wasn't a flat expanse. It was filled with lakes, mountains, forests, and deserts all crammed together. Those natural barriers likely kept human groups apart long enough for their genes to splinter off into different directions. That's pretty interesting. Scientists found a 12,000-year-old monument. Turns out it may be humanity's oldest calendar.
Where's that?
In Turkey, appear to mark solar days and years, making it possibly the oldest calendar in ancient civilization. Marking a massive comet strike as the start, inhabitants use symbols to record every astronomical event, including those as small as single days. The summer solstice was called out on the monument as a special day. An ancient monument discovered in Turkey may just be an ancient monument, but if its markings are what experts think they are, it might be the world's oldest solar calendar. In a study published in Time and Mind based on the work of researchers from the University of Edinburgh, experts write the markings at Göbekli Tepe in southern Turkey, a temple-like archaeological complex filled with intricately carved symbols, indicate the markings of a solar calendar that track days, seasons, and years. So this was Göbekli Tepe. That's cool. By analyzing the symbols carved on the pillars, the team believes that every V could represent a single day, given that one pillar featured 365 days, and among those, the summer solstice in particular was highlighted with a V worn around the neck of a bird-like beast meant to represent the summer solstice constellation during that time. The calendar explanation could help explain why the V symbol appears on so many other nearby statues of deities linked to time and creation, with the V almost showing up around their neck. The calendar's preoccupation with day and seasonal changes may have sparked anew with a world-changing comet strike, one that experts believed occurred in roughly 10,850 BC and helped contribute to a mini ice age that eliminated numerous species. It appears the inhabitants of Göbekli Tepe were keen observers of the sky, Martin Sweatman, lean study researcher from the University of Edinburgh School of Engineering, said in a statement. Which is to be expected, given their world had been devastated by a comet strike. The event might have triggered civilization by initiating a new religion and by motivating developments in agriculture to cope with the cold climate, possibly their attempts to record what they saw as the first steps toward development of writing millennia later. That's pretty cool. An asteroid explosion near ground in France is giving scientists sleepless nights. Nearly
These
half
clickbait
of
articles, I hate it.
yeah, nearly half of Russians think aliens may be hiding among humans on Earth from a poll. Human brain organoids are crossing into dangerous territory. Scientists use electricity to reprogram the immune system for faster healing. That sounds interesting. Representative Thomas Massey says he has the signatures to force the U.S. House vote on releasing Epstein files. That was like the last day or two also. Oh, and that humans as organoids thing is about like making brains in
I know what those are.
In labs. That's pretty crazy. So we're like crossing dangerous territory with that. This isn't normal. Frantic scenes as drones shut down Scandinavian airports. And from what I hear, they weren't like drones like, they were like UFO type drones.
Cool.
Let me make sure though. An eyewitness described police everywhere, including what looked like special forces units in green shouting "Get away" in an intense, frantic atmosphere. The Danish armed forces said they were supporting Copenhagen police with relevant capabilities, declining to say whether the counter-drone systems or special forces were used. A second witness described a bluish-white light that was sometimes blinding on smooth-like objects flying 100% in sync, a display they called bone-chilling. Denmark's prime minister said the flights appeared intended to disrupt and create unrest and did not rule out Russian involvement. The Kremlin denied any role. Ukraine's president also pointed to Russia. Obviously he would. Norwegian police closed Oslo's airspace after similar reports earlier that evening. 2 Singaporean tourists were arrested in Oslo for an unrelated drone flight over the city center. A social media claim that a single low-flying private aircraft caused the scare seems to be contradicted by police statements that multiple drones were involved. Denmark and Norway temporarily closed their main airports last night following reported drone activity. Danish police confirmed the armed forces were activated after sightings over Copenhagen Airport. The Prime Minister said that thing about the unrest. Zelensky said that the drones were of Russian origin, commenting during a recent meeting with Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund that the special attention was given to Russia's violations of airspace of NATO. The Kremlin denied any role. One eyewitness said, "This isn't normal. Those drones were big. I didn't see them in the air, but I went to the site. Police everywhere, regular units and what looked like special forces in green. They shouted, "Get away." The atmosphere was intense, frantic. They announced a press conference in inner Copenhagen, so we rushed there. It's unprecedented. They basically said they didn't know anything. I'm still in shock. It was rough, both with the crowd and the police. This is crazy. Like, whatever this is nuts. The Danish defense supports Copenhagen police with relevant capabilities. The Danish defense has no further comment. Spokesperson declined to comment whether counter-drone systems or special forces were deployed. A Reddit witness, which Liberation Time sources made direct contact with, described a bluish-white, sometimes blinding light on apparently a smooth surface, objects flying 100% in sync. In Oslo, Norway, the airspace was closed overnight after multiple drone reports. Hours earlier, police arrested. I mean, this is all the same shit that we were seeing earlier, but still. Weird. So this is crazy. This could be something. Right?
Yeah, it sounds like what happened in like across America and parts of the world, but just another big one's happening over there right now.
Yeah. Another New Jersey situation.
Yeah.
Here's a interesting little article. I don't feel like reading that one. Basically, a flight attendant got really high on meth and decided to take him, a few minutes to calm down on the flight, and
Good.
yeah, he ended up getting fired, but still, he took too much meth and was like, "Man, I can't deal with this right now." North Korea executing more people for watching foreign films and TV, UN finds. The nearest alien civilization might be across the galaxy and millions of years older than us. Cool. Deputy Green Party leader admits to performing hypnotherapy. I don't even feel like doing that one. To enlarge women's breasts in the past. That's weird.
What?
Yeah, that's a weird one. Iguana's virgin birth hailed by zookeepers as one of the rarest events in the animal kingdom. So you got an iguana Jesus coming soon. Man arrested for living in crawl space of condo complex for extended period of time, sheriff says. One of the world's most sacred places is being turned into a luxury mega resort. I mean, why wouldn't it? West Point cancels ceremony to honor Tom Hanks as an outstanding U.S. citizen. That's funny. Fed up with drug users, street vigilantes are wielding Narcan like a weapon in San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess some fucking addicts will get mad at you if you think they're ODing. You give them some Narcan, and they're like, "What the fuck? I'm not high at all anymore." Like that was actually good. Me laying there like that was heaven.
Me laying there like that was happening. Jesus Christ. I mean, that's
Seriously.
also, then they're going to have to go out and make some more money and steal some shit too. So
Yep, exactly.
I understand. Yeah, so I kind of get that.
If you see somebody shoot up the second that person's head hits the ground, they Narcan them. That would suck for that guy.
That would suck for that. Yeah, that would
Guy
be
just got a headache and his heart's beating like crazy.
The guy
mad.
just got it. He's just like straight up sober now. He's just like too like wound up now.
I wonder if it's like every junkie's dream to just like get that crazy good high and then just die that. Like at a certain point, once they ruin their lives, they're like,
I don't think that's the dream.
Hopefully, this one will take me into death peacefully.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that are like suicidal with it, but I don't think that's everyone's dream. I think some people just want to catch a buzz.
Yeah. No, well, I'm saying once they've gone far gone enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
once
maybe.
Like they have nothing, their skin's ripping apart like the Crypt Keeper. Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You know?
All right, let's not stay too on this too much, though.
They have children that are growing up without them.
Yeah. Let's not get too deep into this part.
Let's not get too deep into it, but they probably never seen their family. in the last, like, 2 decades.
What? All right. 50 years ago, NASA sent 2 spacecraft to search for life on Mars. The Viking mission findings are still discussed today. Weird time crystals are made visible at last. Ancient inscriptions found on the summit of Phuket Mountain. All right, so where should we start? Weird time crystals are made visible at last, or men jailed for witchcraft murder plot against Zambia's president?
Time crystals.
Sweet. Weird time crystals are made visible at last. Time crystals, a state of matter once thought physically impossible, could soon be on a banknote. A time crystal is a form of matter that shows continuous repeating patterns over time, much like how atoms in a normal crystal repeat in space. Examples once existed in only complex quantum matter, but now physicists have found a way to make a time crystal that can be seen under certain conditions with the naked eye. The feat accomplished by physicists at the University of Colorado Boulder and published in Nature Materials on the 4th of September involved liquid crystals, bar-shaped molecules with properties between those of a liquid and those of a solid. Simply by shining a light on the liquid crystals, the team created ripples of twisting molecules through them. The ripples kept moving for hours, undulating with a distinct beat. Even when the researchers changed the conditions, the rhythm was also out of sync with any incoming force, fulfilling the 2 defining criteria for a time crystal. Although some of this behavior of liquid crystals was already known, no one had previously considered whether it could be harnessed to make a time crystal, says Young Ki Kim, a materials scientist at Pohang University of Science and Technology in South Korea. The macroscopic scale of the time crystal at millimeters to centimeters across creates opportunities to provide deeper understanding of the phenomena, he says. The distinctive patterns in the crystals could also allow them to be used in anti-counterfeit devices, says the authors. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Frank Wilczek first proposed the idea of a time crystal in 2012. Wilczek's version was almost like a perpetual motion machine, something that cycled endlessly while in its natural resting state. A team later published a paper that mathematically proved this concept was impossible, but researchers soon found that other kinds of time crystal were possible. Ordered time crystals could exist, for example, in bizarre systems that were perpetually in flux rather than at rest. Time crystals have since been made in a variety of ways using interacting nanoscale defects in diamonds, trapped ions, and simulated on Google's Sycamore quantum computer. But most examples have been at the microscopic scale. The latest system involves shining a light, even that from a normal light bulb, on a liquid crystal film trapped between 2 glass plates. When the light hits photosensitive dye molecules in the glass plates, they switch their orientation, which triggers molecules in the liquid crystal to begin twisting. Intermolecular forces between rod-like liquid crystal molecules mean that they usually all point in the same direction. If some begin twisting, this sets off a domino effect. The molecules reorient themselves into a complex interaction that moves across a sample like a Mexican wave. From this soup of molecules arise stable, twisted formations that behave like particles. These particles interact with each other to create observable ripples. We were surprised and excited to see such time crystalline order can be readily observed in soft matter systems, says Ivan Shmulyak, a physicist at the University of Colorado Boulder who led the work. To observe the molecular dance in detail, the authors looked at the time crystal system using a kind of microscope that transmits only polarized light. The amount of light that passes through depends on a molecule's alignment, revealing the time crystal's ripples as a series of dark and bright stripes. The time crystal maintains its distinctive rhythm for hours, even when the researchers varied its temperature and the light intensity. Because the setup can be tweaked to create patterns that are centimeters across, the effect can be seen by the naked eye, albeit with less contrast and resolution than with a microscope, says Smolyak. Because the patterns change across both space and time, the system is technically a space-time crystal, say the authors. It is unquestionably fits the definition of a time crystal, adds Smolyak, but it does not pose the question of whether other periodic effects also fits the bill. I like how they said that. The authors say that these time crystals are not just a curiosity. The thin layers of crystal could be embedded in banknotes as a way to verify their authenticity. Light passing through stacks of different crystals, each with a different characteristic pattern, could create not just a ripple in one direction, but a changing 2D barcode that could be extremely difficult to counterfeit. and could also be used to store information, they say. We don't want to put a limit on the applications right now, added Smolyuk in a statement. I think there are opportunities.
3D time crystals. This would be great for money, is what they thought.
Pretty much.
This will help us with how we make money.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. And that's pretty much it. He goes, I think there are opportunities to push this technology in all sorts of directions, but it's pretty much, I think it's, what they're trying to say is that it's a great way to just keep track of money, to prevent any kind of black market money from getting out there.
There's a lot they could do with it.
Well, exactly. Let's see. That's pretty cool. I really want to read this men jailed for witchcraft murder plot against Zambia president.
Sure.
This is coming from the BBC. A court in Zambia has sentenced 2 men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hakainde Hichilema. Zambian Leonard Fury and Mozambican Justin Mabulese Kandunde were convicted under the Witchcraft Act after being arrested in December with charms in their possession, including a live chameleon. It is my considered view that the convicts were not only the enemy of the head of state, but were also enemies of all Zambians. Magistrate Fine Miambu said in his ruling, the case has been closely followed in Zambia, as this was the first time anyone has been put on trial for attempting to use witchcraft against the president. The prosecution alleged that Fury and Kendunde were hired by a fugitive former MP to bewitch Hichilema. Despite their insistence that they were bona fide traditional healers, the court found them guilty on 2 counts under the Witchcraft Act. The 2 accepted ownership of the charms. Fury further demonstrated that the chameleon's tail, once pricked and used in the ritual, would cause death to occur within 5 days, Magistrate Miambu said. The lawyer for the 2 men, Agrippa Malando, said his clients pleaded for leniency as they were first-time offenders. He urged the court to fine them, but their request was rejected. Magistrate Mayambu noted that many people in Zambia, like in other African countries, believed in witchcraft, even though it was not scientifically proven. The law was designed to protect society from fear and harm caused by those claiming to have the power to carry out acts of witchcraft, he said. The question is not whether the accused are wizards or actually possess supernatural powers. It is whether they represented themselves as such, and the evidence clearly shows they did. Magistrate Miambu said, well, he's got a point there. It's kind of funny because he's really got a point. In addition to the 2-year sentence they were given for professing witchcraft, the men were sentenced to 6 months in prison for possessing charms. As the sentences will run concurrently, they will serve only 2 years in prison, effective from the date of their arrest in December 2024. Hichilema has previously said he does not believe in witchcraft. He has not commented on the case. That's funny that the guy is arresting them, but he says that he doesn't believe in witchcraft. Lawyer Dixon Gier told the BBC that the Witchcraft Act was passed during colonial rule in 1914. He said people were very rarely prosecuted for practicing witchcraft, but it helped protect elderly women who faced mob justice in villages after being accused of bewitching someone and causing their death.
So they really just did this so that people wouldn't, so they could go to the law. They're like, oh, you think she's casting spells on you? Well, here, it's a law now, so we can try them in court. So you don't beat them to death instead.
That's funny. And now it's being used to actually fuck with people like years later. Some people believe the government's insistence that he should be buried in Zambia, contrary to his family's wishes, may be for occult reasons. That's about the President Edgar Lungu over his funeral. Lungu died in South Africa in June, and his body is still in the morgue, and there because of the failure to reach the agreement over his burial. Okay. So that was kind of interesting, actually. 2 teenagers who peed into a pot of broth at a hot pot restaurant have been ordered to pay 2.2 million yuan.
Good.
$309,000 to 2 catering companies in China.
Good. That's insane to do. That's really bad.
That's fucking crazy. People think China intercepted a meteor or a UFO after fireball video goes viral. Now, did you see that video?
No.
Oh, all right. We got to watch. This is something people have been talking about. Did you hear about this at all?
No.
So basically, China intercepted a meteor that was coming toward like some province in China. and they blew it out of the sky. So check out this video I'm gonna send you.
Hold on.
I'm probably gonna try to put this video up on the stream too, because this would be a good one to show. But they basically shot a rocket at it and blew it up. See it?
Yeah.
Look at this shit. This is a better angle right here. Look.
That's cool.
Isn't that crazy? That's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. China's says a video of a fireball streaking across the sky before being hit midair and exploding has gone viral, sparking wild theories about what it could be. I mean, it seems like a meteor to me. The light show was seen above China's Shandong province on Friday. People posted on social media about seeing the bright object pass above before another luminous object traveled to meet it. The clips were shared, showing the event from different angles, sparking speculation about the cause. One witness told the Chinese news outlet, "First seen, I heard 2 loud bangs and it was raining, so I thought it was thunder." But some users on Weibo, the Chinese social media platform, said the object may have been a meteor or UFO which was shot down. Imagine if it was a UFO.
I mean, it didn't look like a UFO. Wasn't it like falling like a meteor?
Yeah, no, that totally looked like a meteor to me, but you never know.
We have a crystal clear representation of somebody shooting a missile at a UFO.
We
know
do.
what that
That's true. That's true. Now we have a crystal clear representation of somebody shooting a missile at a meteorite. Isn't that amazing that we got all of that in the same month?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of poetic. In the exact same month, we got 2 things from outer space being shot at with a missile. That's fucking crazy. That's history for you. It happens in 2s. It says meteors enter the atmosphere at incredibly fast speeds at around 25,000 miles per hour to 160,000, often without little warning, so this would be something unheard of. Although humans have previously managed to smash into an asteroid, this was in space. After tracking and measuring it extensively, and at a cost of $325 million. Dr. Alfredo Carpenetti, an astrophysicist who writes for IFL Science, isn't exactly saying the truth is out there after seeing the footage. I think what it is might be difficult to find out, he told Metro, but it wouldn't otherwise be a UFO. The problem is that it partly looks like a meteor until it doesn't. That's why I'm skeptical. What does he think it is if it's not a meteor? Dr. Carpenetti said the video is weird and bouncy, making it difficult to discern what the glowing object is. The fastest hypersonic missile is still slower than the slowest asteroid, and there is no planetary defense system that uses missiles, he said. I mean, is China going to tell us everything they got? Another possible explanation circulated online is a test of a missile interception system, but as yet, there's very little concrete information to explain what happened, just a lot of social media buzz. That actually makes sense also. All right. I don't know. What do you think of that? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's probably just a meteorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be pretty cool, honestly.
That was like a fake meteorite where they made something fall like that so they could shoot it out to show that they could.
I feel like China kind of does shit like that too. Don't they like to fake things as a show?
Russia.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. All the major countries like that, like the really huge countries around the world, I feel like have done that. Have done fake things as a show of force. Like the
moon landing.
I was just gonna say that exact.
No, I don't know about that one. I don't know if that's fake. I'm not there yet.
I think we landed on the moon before 1969. That was just a show. You know?
How do we land on the moon if the Earth is flat?
Oh, man, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. We hopped over to the moon like a frog on a lily pad, and the moon is flat, too.
I don't like flat Earth theory, but I am open to ice wall theory as long as it's not literally a flat. Like, it's still an orb. We're still on a floating orb.
Yeah, but then the ice wall is just Antarctica.
The known world is just actually a lot smaller than we think. Like in Hunter x Hunter, we're just a bunch of islands in a giant lake.
I mean, I think that's kind of how it is regardless, because, you could think of space as being just a vast ocean, and all the different planetary bodies are just a little island.
Flat earthers believe that, there's this, ice wall around, and some people believe that there's more outside the ice wall, and it's actually way bigger. But,
what do they believe is outside the ice wall?
Look it up.
This is not something we should be doing right now.
But, I mean, at some point.
All right.
Very popular belief now, but I just think that that's more interesting than flat Earth. Is the idea that
I would
There's
say I would
more
say
out
flat
there.
Earth is less popular now than it ever has been.
I don't know, man.
I think flat Earth had its like major like thing in like the 2000s and 2010s, but it's kind of fallen off.
I think the ice wall theories are revitalizing flat Earth.
Revitalizing flat Earth.
Even though I don't think it needs to be a flat Earth for there to be ice walls concealing grander like continents beyond.
Do you think we have more continents than we have?
No, I don't know. I think that's interesting.
Do you think the
Really cool
maps could be
concept.
wrong?
I have no idea. I don't think so, but I don't
I
know.
was gonna say I think you do think the maps are wrong, but not in this sense.
Yeah, not like that.
A hidden event in 2007 jolted Earth's gravity and magnetic field. Have you seen the Hat Man? Experts reveal the truth behind the ghost-like
we
entity
spoke of it.
commonly seen during sleep. I know, that's why I got that one, because I was like, yeah, we've seen him.
I feel like you've brought up the Hat Man multiple times, and one time you brought it up, and I was like, "Dude, we covered the Hat Man." You're like, "Really? Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, I know we've talked about the Hat Man once because we told our story about him, and I know we've talked about the Hat Man with Los.
Is there anything new about Hat Man?
That's what I'm trying to see. According to witnesses, he comes dressed like a trench coat and a wide brim hat, but has no discernible face or eyes. We all know that. It's just saying all the typical stuff. Sleep paralysis, reminds them of Freddy Krueger. It says, so when we suffer with sleep paralysis, the first scary thing our brain thinks to explain the frightening situation. The academic who has looked at hundreds of sleep paralysis anecdotes spanning about 400 years thinks we can track trends of popular sleep paralysis demons throughout history. People first saw witches, hags, and incubi because that was a key part of the folklore in the early modern period, Dr. Vernon noted. Then in the Victorian era, people saw vampires, ghosts, and skeletons because of the memento mori and funeral culture, as well as the growing prevalence of ghosts and horror stories. Now people often report horror movie-style monsters and villains, as well as interpreting sleep paralysis as an alien abduction and seeing aliens in places of hags. Dr. Brian Sharpless, clinical psychologist and author of Sleep Paralysis, a historical, psychological, and medical perspective, thinks Hat Man is more of a common vision than people might realize. When I conducted a study of sleep paralysis using a sample of young undergraduates, we asked them what they saw during episodes, he told the Daily Mail. We had expected the classic descriptions of demons, witches, and especially extraterrestrials. However, we were surprised to learn that the most common figures seen were shadow people like the Hat Man. Dr. Sharpless, who's also author of Monsters of the Couch, which looks at the psychological disorder behind the famous horror movies, thinks his findings may represent a cultural shift. It's possible that younger people in the West may find demons and ghosts as less realistic figures during these strange bedtime experiences, he said. Perhaps shadow people, or sometimes thought of as time travelers or interdimensional beings, might be viewed as more realistic and plausible. That's funny. Teresa Campillo Ferrer, researcher of the consciousness at Pompey Fabra University in Spain, thinks that what we experience during sleep paralysis is not necessarily unreal. You know, I don't entirely buy that, because when I was a kid and I experienced Hat Man, I was so young that I still believed in witches and all that shit. And to me, Hat Man was just Hat Man. It was just like this weird figure, this shadowy figure in the corner that was wearing like a weird hat. So I don't entirely buy this, like, that it's a cultural shift sort of thing. If anything, I'm starting to, like, get the idea maybe Hat Man is, like, a being that somehow, like, you know, there's all these people that, like, ascend and, like, on the mortal plane and get to like a spiritual level where they're able to like do all these crazy things. Why isn't it possible that like people that are dark energies can also ascend to like the, you know, immortal realm?
I think that's what a lot of demons are.
That's kind of what I'm kind of knocking on too. Like, what if a lot of these dark entities were just people that like that got really into their craft in life and were really into the dark craft, and they eventually, like in the afterlife, their spirit attached to something else beyond them, or like, you know what I mean? So now they're only visible, like kind of like Freddy Krueger, how he was only visible in that realm. Maybe this Hat Man is like a Freddy Krueger type, basically, where his spirit is like manifested only in that realm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's also possible that's like a bureau of the Adjustment Bureau type situation.
So, like, you think all these people that get visited could be like special people that like are being visited at special times in their life in order to make sure things are on the right track?
Not necessarily so much special, but like
Well,
like
just to make sure
something.
things are on the right track.
I don't think there's any reason why I saw a hat man. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like that wouldn't make any sense. Like, what do they care what I'm doing? Unless
Well,
it's
unless
like
you're more spiritually in tune.
well, hold on. I think it's like maybe they're like it is a test. Like they're just testing people. They're like checking in. Like they come in just to check on you. You know,
Maybe.
not because we're special, but because like it's like that's what their bureau does. They like go around and collecting this information
But
discreetly.
why these specific people, though? Why you? Why
It's not these specific people. It's like it's like a shitload of people across the world.
But people just don't realize it?
What do you mean people just don't realize it?
Because
There's
only...
a bunch. We're talking about people all over the world that experience it.
Yeah, but it's only certain individuals. Like you ask a regular person on the street if they've ever
Not
experienced
everybody has
Hatman.
experienced it. Yeah, not everybody's
That's what I'm
experienced it,
saying.
but that doesn't
So-
need to be. It doesn't need to be because those people are special. It could just be
No,
because
I'm
they
saying,
were
but what makes
chosen to
them
be tested.
different? What makes them chosen to be?
I just
be
described.
visited?
I just told you that nothing makes them chosen. They could just be literally just be like, oh, we need people to test.
I guess so. I guess
Because like
so.
I don't see why I would be chosen to be visited by a Hat Man, other than just one of the many who's been visited by the Hat Man. One of the millions.
So do you feel that way about aliens?
Well, aliens are different. I think when people get abducted by aliens,
I don't think they are, though.
well, there's a lot of different things out there, so I think they are different.
If aliens can tap into emotions, I think ghosts can probably tap into emotions, and like beings in that other realm can probably
You don't know what
do
the Hat
same
Man
thing.
is.
Yeah, but if he taps into your dreams, he can definitely tap into your psyche and your emotions. So
I've never said I've seen the Hat Man in my dreams.
That's true. It's more of just like when you're awake.
The Hat Man could be a literal guy in a hat, and they all wear the same hat, so they all look the same, and it's like the Men in Black. Like there's the Men in Black, and the Men in Black, they literally show up, talk to you, interrogate you, freak you the fuck out, so you could like either to suppress you or to get whatever information you have. Whereas this could be like a separate bureau that does some that's like even more secretive.
Ooh,
Because they're
that would
actually
be
like
wild.
that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like how there's the FBI and there's all this shit, or it's like, or there's the Men in Black, and then there's the Hat Men,
We just created the newest movie,
the Men in Hats.
The Men in Hats. I think the Hat Men sounds like a good name for a movie about like this bureau that visits
Right.
people while they're trying to sleep.
Right? While they're trying to sleep.
So yeah, I guess no news there, but still interesting. I'll try. Lockheed nuclear sites and not made here materials named in UAP hearing. Taliban leader bans Wi-Fi in Afghan province to prevent immorality. Camera trap in Chile detects strange lights blazing through the wilderness. Researchers are scrambling to explain them.
That's cool.
Yeah. Iran to start growing legal opium after Taliban crackdown. That's crazy, by the way. Influencers' free chicken event sparks riots between teens and police in Paris. Strip club execs bribed auditor with private dances and free trips to avoid paying millions of dollars in taxes, charges say. I mean, that just sounds like a regular Tuesday.
Yeah.
San Francisco chef arrested after allegedly robbing 3 banks in a day. Can we read that one real quick?
Yeah.
I forgot to put that one in the crime one. That's crazy. A San Francisco chef was arrested after allegedly robbing 3 banks in one day. Valentino Luchin, 62, wow, he was old too for that, was arrested after allegedly robbing a bank on September 10th around 12:02 on Grant Avenue, according to a San Francisco Police Department news release. Officers discovered that Luchin allegedly went into the bank and passed a note to an employee demanding the money. The employee provided the cash and Luchin allegedly fled the scene. Investigators identified Luchin as a suspect and discovered that he lived in the Central District. According to the release, police then arrested him. Officials haven't revealed how much money he allegedly stole. On the same day as the first robbery, 2 other robberies took place in the Central District involving a similar suspect, according to the release. Police believe Luchin committed these other robberies as well. Luchin was booked into San Francisco jail on 2 counts of robbery and 1 count of attempted robbery, according to the release. Luchin previously worked as the chef at Rose Pistola in San Francisco and as a head chef at Octavio in Walnut Creek, according to his LinkedIn profile. Wow. He was also arrested in connection with a 2018 bank robbery in Orinda.
He cooks good food and robs banks.
That's his thing. Apparently, he's like a very classy cook, but also a bank robber. Wild chimpanzees consume the equivalent of 2 cocktails a day in the form of boozy fruit, research finds.
Can I just say that chef, that bank robber chef, I bet he's insufferable to be around. I bet he's such a fuckboy.
Yeah, he's probably an asshole. I feel like he finally just like got fed up with life, and this was like his falling down moment.
And I bet you he has at least one drug dependency that is taking up way too much money.
Yeah, probably. Don't chefs drink a lot too?
Sure. Some do heroin.
Some do heroin. Holy shit, that's wild.
I mean, some doctors do heroin.
I was gonna say everybody does heroin, so you know it's not that wild. Everybody does meth too. Everybody does weed.
Everyone does heroin.
Everybody does heroin. It's just the thing.
It's just something that we all do.
Yeah. It's just something that we all do. Yeah. Everybody does a little meth. Everybody does a little heroin.
Hey, aliens, you must be new to planet Earth. We all do heroin.
Holy shit. NASA responds to concern. Speaking of, NASA responds to concerns. 3i Atlas is an alien spaceship coming to invade Earth. They basically were like, nah, nothing to worry about here. M&M's spill across New Jersey highway after tractor trailer crash.
Causes a school bus full of children to get viciously torn apart.
Yo, causes school bus full of children to viciously tear apart the truck.
Oh,
the tractor trailer.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking they got ripped apart by the wheels of all the passing cars.
No, it was M&M's, dude.
No, I know it was M&M's. They were running after the M&M.
I know, I get it. Hats, sandals, and pizza boxes. Hundreds of items removed from Yellowstone hot springs. Fun. LimeWire acquires Fire Festival, asking what could possibly go wrong. I think that's one of the funniest headlines of this entire month. 120 land and environmental defenders killed or disappeared in Latin America last year, report finds. Astronomers want to blow up this asteroid before it likely strikes moon. There we go, that's fun. One mother, 2 species. Ants that clone another species to survive. And how Denmark plans to roll out the world's first cow burp tax. That's fun. An Australian kindergarten asked parents to pay thousands for their children's art. That's fucking crazy. What the fuck's going on in Australia right now?
What's going on in Australia?
I don't know.
What's going on with them right now?
Newly discovered ancient mummies don't share DNA with modern humans. We already read that one.
This is fascinating. Yeah, I like that.
That's cool, but it turned out to not be like that crazy. I'm not saying it's still not interesting, but, you know, I was expecting some alien shit, but it's just like, oh, yeah, this is some people that we found that were, like, related to some early hominids. And that's cool, too.
What it made me think of is how old ancient Egypt really is. And that, like, the people who originally made Egypt are probably not related to the people who lived in it after a while. And the people that we imagine are the ancient Egyptians picked it up from whoever actually built it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be why some of the mummies don't connect genealogically to anybody. Because, like, they might be older mummies. That's just what it made me think.
Mm-hmm. Staffer arrested causes $55,000 of damage with fart spray at U.S. high school. I don't even understand how you can do that much damage with fart spray.
Somebody on the staff was playing with fart spray?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, they look at him. They're like, look at everything you ruined. And, like, they probably barely even cleaned it. Like, look, still smells ruined. You gotta pay for all of it. Honestly, like, what an idiot. You're an adult. Why do you have farts? Why are you touching fart spray?
Literally. At least 19 people die after drinking tainted liquor in Russia, officials say.
Oh. Tainted love.
Tainted love. Tornado spotted off of coast of Iceland. This one I thought was pretty funny. Trump posts an absolutely bonkers AI video in which he promotes a magic med bed that can cure any disease. That was pretty funny. That was like from the other day. Military divers claim they found an underwater UFO crash site, but they spent decades sworn to secrecy. We should definitely read that one real quick.
Okay.
This is coming from Popular Mechanics. Military divers claim they found an underwater UFO crash site, but they spent decades sworn to secrecy. Several witnesses saw orange light zip across the horizon. When authorities arrived, all that was left was a strange yellow foam. On the evening of October 4th, 1967, a group of teens near Canada's Shag Harbor noticed strange orange lights in the sky plummeting toward the Atlantic Ocean. Hovering just above the water surface, they reported the incident to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, thinking it was a devastating plane crash. When the Coast Guard arrived at the scene, the only evidence of the unidentified anomalous phenomenon was a yellow foam in the water. Some witnesses thought the light sinking into the sea caused a strange material to appear. The next day, the divers investigated the scene without any proof of aliens, or even a pedestrian plane crash for that matter, which would make it seem like the case was cold. But when Chris Stiles, a longtime ufologist, began poking around 33 years later, there's that number 33 again. Eyewitnesses kept asking him the same question: "You know about Shelburne, don't you?" For most ufologists, the prospect of another anomalous incident would be like an early Christmas present, but for Stiles it was more of a headache. He explained in an interview on the podcast UFO Live shows that he didn't want Shag Harbor to become another Roswell. The infamously confusing incident in the United States, which sparked a conspiracy theory among UFO proponents that recovered materials found in Roswell, New Mexico, including foil and rubber debris, were from an ET spacecraft. Upon further investigation, Stiles realized the Shelburne incident referred to a 1960s NATO minesweeping exercise off the coast of McNabbs Island, a small island in Nova Scotia, Canada. According to Stiles, the U.S. ships had traveled ahead along the Shelburne Harbor coast, laying an 8-mile-long path of dummy mines for the exercise. The minesweepers would then come in and clear the entire course. At least that's what was supposed to happen. Witnesses of the minesweeping mission said everything was going as planned for about an hour. That is until all hell broke loose, and the divers were deployed into the water, Stiles recalled in the podcast. There was no doubt that they were dealing with off of Shelburne, Stiles writes in his 2023 book, Sweep Clear 5, NATO's UFO Encounter. Quoting 3 Royal Canadian divers, there were UFOs sitting on the seabed. They were occupied and there was still activity. One was trying to help the other, which was damaged. Following yet more research, Stiles says in the interview that they came across records indicating the ships initiated DEFCON 1, the highest level of readiness for war. About 90 minutes into the mission, it wasn't surprising the witnesses mistook details of the exercise, like how long before things went wrong, or used ambiguous language when describing what they'd seen. According to the divers, they'd been sworn to secrecy for more than 3 decades. They ordered us to the surface and ordered us to forget what we'd seen, the divers say in Sweep Clear 5. Then the alarm sounded upon the command ship and panic broke out. As he continued his interviews, Stiles began prying for more information from witnesses. He recounts on the podcast that one Air Force veteran in particular claimed to have listened to the divers talking each night. Stiles says the airman remembered hearing his shipmates discuss 2 flying saucers lying on the ocean floor beneath the ship. That same veteran said talk continued until the end of the mission, when a U.S. Navy officer suggested the divers should stop talking about the Soviet submarine they were investigating, implying the vessels the men had seen weren't extraterrestrial. In the podcast interview, Stiles claimed his editors pushed him to link his findings about what went down in Shelburne with the Shag Harbor incident. After all, in his other book, Dark Object, the world's only government-documented UFO crash, he and co-author Don Leisure hypothesized that the UFO which allegedly crashed at Shag Harbor traveled 25 miles underwater, where it was met by another ET ship, perhaps to rescue it. If Shelburne and Shag Harbor were connected, it would wrap the whole story up in a pretty bow. It wasn't until nearly 3 decades into his research that Stiles discovered the true nature of the NATO minesweeping mission occurred. 1960 chronologically, this sets Shelburne 7 years before Shag Harbor. Even for an alien tale, it was impossible. The object witnessed that the 2 locations couldn't be the same. Even though the 2 events proved to be unrelated, and despite the Shelburne witnesses being hesitant to share real details, Stiles says in the podcast that he believed the veracity of the men's accounts. He claims that many of the Navy veterans teared up in interviews, often asking to change the subject when their emotion became too intense. The researcher emphasized the historical context time, stating that Betty and Barney Hill had yet to make their famous alien abduction claims, and that space travel was still merely a science fiction dream. Despite Stiles' extensive research, the sighting at Shelburne remains overshadowed by the Shag Harbor incident. Now the small town of Shag Harbor is a tourist destination for alien enthusiasts. More than 50 years later, both cases remain unsolved, aside from Stiles' explanation, but some experts say the possibility of a unidentified submerged objects having alien origins isn't totally improbable. Could this mean the UFOs at Shag Harbor and Shelburne really did get away? American Airlines passenger restrained with zip ties, duct tape after threats. Jamie Oliver says being conceptually thick led to the collapse of his restaurant empire. And Tesla is looking to redesign its door handles following trapped passenger reports.
Wow.
The French president and his wife are going to present to court the fact that she's biologically a woman.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's awesome. Good for her.
Yeah.
Glad she's finally able to prove that.
Zebra cows repel flies and win Nobel Prize. That's weird.